Hello everyone, welcome back to Namma Laex Bangalore presents current issue of the day. In today's episode, we'll discuss about one of the most debated topic in India at the moment. That is about Aravalli Hills crisis. We'll discuss why this Aravalli Hills is in news and what are the Aravallis, basic questions, and what is the significance of this Aravallis. And recently it was in news because of a Supreme Court ruling. What is the Supreme Court ruling? And then we'll discuss the implications of this ruling, okay, and the implications especially in the short term and in the long term, and finally we will find some solutions to address this issue. So without any further delay, we start the topic. So about Aravalli Hills crisis, how a legal definition could change India's ecological history altogether, how it can change India's ecology. So Aravalli Hills, as we know, are one of the oldest hills in the world, not just in India, in the world. If you consider India, these are the oldest hills in India. Okay, these were originated around 3 billion years ago in the Precambrian era. So carry a lot of historical legacy. But now, after 3 billion years, now there has been a legal definition change from the government of Rajasthan, which was approved by Supreme Court, which can change how we see Aravalli Hills altogether. That is why this news is very important. First, we'll discuss what these Aravalli Hills are. Okay, so what is this Aravalli Hills? Normally, hills are mountainous ranges are divided into fold mountains. Okay, or normally divided into block or horst or graben, etc., etc. So in Aravalli's case, Aravalli is an ancient fold mountains. Okay, Aravalli is a fold mountain. What do you mean by fold mountain? Fold mountain is when there are two compressive forces in the tectonic plates. Sorry, not comprehensive, compressive folds or compressive plates coming together, which is going to lead to upliftment of land. Okay, this is going to be considered as a fold mountain. So many million billion years ago, Aravalli was a fold mountain, which at the period of time was almost 3 times taller than what Himalayas are at the moment. So what is the highest point of Himalaya? It is around 8,848 meters, which is Mount Everest. So now consider it to be 3 times taller. Okay, around 25,000 meters, almost 25 kilometers was the tallness of Aravallis in those times. But now over the period of time, because of extreme denudation, what do you call it as? Extreme denudation. Extreme denudation, the height of Aravallis has gradually reduced to current height. So these hills, which were originally very tall and over the period of time, they lose their tallness, they do lose their height. These kind of mountains are called as relict mountains. What are they called? They are called as relict mountains. Okay, relict mountains because of various reasons such as weathering, such as erosion, such as denudation. They lose their height. Okay, so that is about Aravalli Hills. So where are they found? Actually, if you consider the map of India, these are majorly covering 4 states. First is the Gujarat, southern terminus, and also which is a biodiversity hotspot, and Rajasthan. The majority of Aravallis are found in Rajasthan, covers around 550 kilometers across Rajasthan. Then comes Haryana, which acts as a critical groundwater recharge in that region. And then Delhi NCERT region. This is the last green lung for the capital region. Okay, along with Delhi crisis, along with Aravalli crisis, one of the other hot debated topic is about Delhi pollution. Okay, today morning I was checking the mobile phone, and what is the air quality index of Delhi today? It is around 509, which is extremely hazardous. And Delhi is currently 19th most, not currently, today it is the 19th most polluted city in the world. So we are already facing issue of pollution. Now we are going to have certain implications on Aravallis, which is going to have direct implication on Delhi. So that is why Aravalli debate is very important for us, not only for Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, but also with respect to pollution of Delhi as well. So people who are attending the interview this year, there can easily be a question on this: how is Aravalli connected to Delhi? How can Aravalli be a solution to Delhi pollution crisis? how is the new rule or the legal law that is brought by the government of Rajasthan going to affect Delhi pollution? Be ready for these kind of questions. Okay, so this is recognized as one of the world's oldest fold mountain range, setting almost to 3.5 billion years, which is older than Himalayas by almost 3 billion years. What are Himalayas? Himalayas are young fold mountains. Okay, young fold mountains. So in front of Aravallis, Himalayas are bacha. Himalayas are like chotus. Okay, now Aravallis, this is basically geographical extent and the basic idea about Aravallis. Now, what is this Aravalli so significant? Why are so many people are arguing about Aravalli? Why Aravalli should be protected? First is, it is acting as a desertification shield. You might ask, what is the shield? What is the desertification? Desertification is the process of expansion of a desert. Okay. Oh, so if this is India, if this is India, if this is Gujarat, so normally there is a big desert in India, that is the Great Indian Desert, which is called as Thar. Okay, Thar Desert. So this Thar Desert expands from Gujarat to Rajasthan and some parts of Haryana as well. So desert normally tries to expand. When they are trying to expand, it keeps on converting the fertile lands into desert. But now, if there is a shield, then this desertification is reduced. What is the shield in this particular case for India? It is the mighty Aravallis. So these Aravallis are acting as a shield. So where that this Thar desert is not expanding further to inland India. But now with the legal changes, if you are going to destroy Aravallis, then this shield is also removed. Okay. So it acts as a crucial barrier preventing the westward expansion of the Thar desert in the fertile regions of Haryana, Punjab and beyond. Second is, they are also very significant for the groundwater recharge. Okay, because they capture monsoon rainfall and channels into aquifers, sustaining agriculture and drinking water for over 100 million people across North India. Okay, we have to see in India there are majorly 4 watersheds. One of the watersheds in India is none other than our very own Aravalli. Okay, so there are majorly 4 main watersheds. One is Western Ghats, one is Aravallis, one is Satpuras and Vindhya regions. These are the majorly 4 watersheds of India. So now we are discussing only about Aravallis. So if you are discussing about Aravallis, Aravalli is also home to many rivers, such as one of the major or the biggest river you can consider is Luni. Okay, Luni, which is also called as Lavanahari River. Luni or Lavanahari River, which interestingly is a endorheic river. What do you mean by endorheic river? Endorheic river is a river which drains not into the sea but drains within the land. So where does it drain into? It drains into the famous run of Kutch. Okay, Luni drains into famous run of Kutch. And there is again another river which is called as Sabarmati river. What is Sabarmati famous for? So on the bank of Sabarmati, we have Sabarmati Ashram, which played a significant role in the growth and development of our very own Gandhiji. Okay, then second comes is Sabarmati, and after that there is Mahe, which drains into Arabian Sea. Sabarmati also drains into Arabian Sea, and apart from this, there is one more very important river, that is Banas River. It does not drain into any river because it acts as a tributary to Chambal River, which again acts as a tributary to Yamuna, which again acts as a tributary to Ganga, and we finally drains into Bay of Bengal. So not only is it acting as a shield to desertification, it is also important watershed and it is also important for aquifer recharge in the particular region. Okay, so Aravalli serves many purposes. Now, apart from this, it is also a significant factor in climate regulation of northern India. Okay, moderates extreme temperatures, influences monsoon patterns of the region and reduces the urban heat island effect, especially in the Delhi National Capital region and the surrounding cities. So it is also playing an important role in climate regulation. Not only this, it also plays an important role in biodiversity corridor. As a biodiversity corridor, meaning it provides habitat for endangered species, including big game species like leopards, hyenas, and over 300 bird species, connecting fragmented forest ecosystems. Okay, a very important, significant Aravalli Hills are under threat now. So, the Aravallis function as an integrated ecosystem where every ridge, valley, slope contributes to regional environmental stability. This interconnected landscape cannot be protected piecemeal. Height alone does not determine the ecological value. So now, what is this height? Why are we discussing about this one? First, we will discuss the growing threat. Okay, this growing threat is not just a year or recent phenomenon, it is a decade of degradation. So it is a phenomenon not of today, it is of decades. The phenomenon is spanning decades. Remember, I told you it is one of the oldest fold mountains, and remember I told you it is one of the most denuded region in the world. As a result, it houses many minerals, which is very important for development of any region. Because of these minerals, what the government, private individuals, and everyone is trying to do is they are trying to destroy Aravallis so that they can get hands on these minerals, which is going to have impact on development, growth, etc., etc. But we have to consider the fact that Aravalli is not only a source of minerals, it is also source of ecosystem, source of water, source of desertification, source of biodiversity corridor as well. We are forgetting this particular fact. Okay, now illegal mining operations. What are the threats to Aravallis? First is illegal mining operations. Recent extraction of stone, marbles, and minerals has scarred the landscape. Despite Supreme Court bans dating back to 2002, enforcement remains very weak, with mining lobbies wielding significant political influence. Okay, it is not like everyone is standing still. From 2002 onwards, there is Supreme Court ban on mining in these areas. But despite that, what happens in India? Normally, it is the issue with implementation. So that is the same here, because the mining lobbies are so strong that they demand or command political support there as well. Second is the urban sprawl pressure. Okay, that is especially the explosive growth of Delhi and the NCERT region has pushed constructions into the protected Aravalli zones as well. Luxurious farmhouses, townships, and industrial units have encroached upon thousands of acres of ecological sensitive land. Okay, let me give you an example here. The uh, tallest peak in the Aravalli range is Guru Shikhar. Okay, tallest range is Guru Shikhar. Surrounding these Guru Shikhar hills, many farmhouses, many resorts have come up. What are they trying to do? They are trying to attract tourism. Okay, we understand. We want good services for tourists. But what is it doing indirectly? It is destroying the ecosystem of Aravallis. Okay, it is destroying the ecosystem of Aravallis. Next, forest cover depletion. Between 2001 to 2023, the Aravalli region has lost over 32% of its native vegetation. 32% of its native vegetation. What are the main reasons? Overgrazing, firewood collection, and land use changes have transformed dense forest into a barren scrublands. Okay, so which is ultimately going to impact the ecosystem as well. And finally, which is one of the reasons in most of the issues in India, that is the regulatory failures, that is the weak implementation, that is the weak political will. So, contradictory state policies, absence of unified protection framework, and gaps between environmental lands and ground level enforcement have created a vacuum which is exploited by the Western interest. In this particular case, the mining lobbies. Okay. Next, what is the Supreme Court ruling? Where does Supreme Court come in this all crisis? As I told you, there has been a ban from 2002 onwards, but recently there was a tweak, or there was a change in the definition of Aravallis from the government of Rajasthan, from the government side. But what the Supreme Court did is, Supreme Court has aligned with the government, aligning with the definition of government of government. What is the definition of Aravallis? We'll discuss here. So, landmark judicial actions. This case has been going on in Supreme Court from 2024 to 25. The Supreme Court of India took an unprecedented step to address the Aravalli crisis, responding to the petitions from environmental activists and the concerned citizens. What happened here? First is the new legal definition was accepted by Supreme Court. The court adopted a technical definition proposed by the geological surveys, fundamentally changing what areas receive protection and what areas are considered as Aravallis. We'll discuss what is this legal definition later. Next is, this is the 100-meter elevation criteria. This new law introduced height as the primary determinant of Aravalli classification. Landforms below the 100-meter elevation are excluded from the stringent protection. They are not considered anymore as part of protected Aravalli Hills. Okay, we'll discuss more on that one. First is scientific mapping has been ordered by the Supreme Court, directed the state governments to conduct comprehensive topographical surveys using satellite imagery as well as ground verification. This is the Supreme Court's directives to the respective state governments, but what has got the eye is acceptance of this new legal definition that has resulted in concerns rising from most of the environmental activists. While intended to bring clarity, this intervention has sparked intense debate among ecologists, legal experts, and policymakers about whether geology alone should define environmental protection. So, what is this 100-meter rule? 100-meter rule is very simple. Qualifies as Aravallis. What qualifies as Aravallis? Aravalli Hills, that is landforms with an elevation of 100-meter from the surrounding plains. 100-meter from the surrounding plains, very important. So, if this is a plain, if there is an elevation, if this is above 100-meter, then this is considered as Aravallis. There is another hill, but if this is below 100-meter, if it is around 50 meters, then this does not considered as Aravalli Hills and it does not receive protection. So again, one more thing, 100 meters from where? 100 meters from the surrounding plains. This is also point of contention. It is not from the sea level. We have to be very clear here. Okay, there can easily be a question on prelims. So the new definition of Aravalli is considers any landform above 100 meters sea level as Aravalli Hills or as part of Aravalli Hills. Then that statement becomes wrong because it is not from the sea level, it is from surrounding plains region. They receive full legal protection under the forest and environmental laws such as Environment Protection Act, such as Forest Rights Act, etc. etc. Mining, construction, and land use changes face stringent restrictions. What is excluded from the definition? Ridges, hillocks, undulating terrains below the 100-meter threshold would lose automatic protection. These areas become vulnerable to reclassification as wastelands or non-forest zones, which opens them up for development, meaning opens them up for the mining lobbies. Opens them up for the mining lobbies or mining activities. Okay, so what is the issue here? Okay, fine, 100-meter elevation. Okay, then 100-meter elevation is fine, then it is considered Aravalli. Most of the Aravalli hills is a tall hill, so 100-meter is fine, it should be fine. But the issue is it is a relic mountain. So according to this particular legal basis, 90%, remember the 90% of Aravalli hills does not come under 100-meter elevation definition, meaning 90% of the Aravalli hills is no longer protected under environmental and protection, environmental as well as forest laws acts. Okay, that is the issue here. So critical context is this 100-meter criteria was derived from geological surveys which focused on the topographical prominence. Their focus was mainly on the topographical prominence. What is the topographical prominence here? It is above 100-meter sea level, but it is excluding ecological function of even this particular 100-meter line. So this height-based approach treats Aravalli landscape as a collection of isolated peaks rather than integrated ecosystem or interconnected ecosystem where every elevation plays vital role in water flow, in soil conservation, and in habitat connectivity. So if at all you are going to go this with this definition, then there will be fragmentation of habitat, there will be impact on soil conservation, impact on water flow as well. So why this, why is this deeply controversial? As I explained you, 90% of the Aravalli landscape is excluded according to this definition, meaning comprising thousands of square kilometers, which loses protection despite their cultural and crucial ecological roles. Next, ecologically doesn't depend only on the height. We have to remember it. Water catchment, soil conservation, wildlife corridors, microclimate regulation occur across wide range of elevations, across entire elevation gradient, meaning a 50-meter ridge can be ecologically more significant than 150-meter isolated peak, depending on its position in the watershed and connectivity to the forest patches as well. So height alone should not be the criteria, geology alone should not be the criteria. Next, opens floodgates to the exploitation. Mining companies, real estate developers are already positioning to exploit the legal loopholes. Areas previously under the Forest Conservation Act protections could be reclassified, triggering a new wave of destructive activities in ecologically sensitive zones. Okay, so what is going to be the economical consequences of this particular issue? It will lead to expansion of desertification, groundwater depletion, extreme heat events, dust storms frequency is going to increase, and biodiversity loss is going to increase. So what will be its immediate impacts? Immediate impacts will be accelerated soil expansion, exposing the bedrock, loss of monsoon moisture interaction or interception, fragmentation of the wildlife corridors, and finally the increased air pollution from the exposed dust. And the long term consequences will be irreversible desert expansion into agricultural zone, collapse of regional aquifer systems, local extinction of endemic species which are dependent on the Aravalli Hills. Next, permanent alteration of North India's climate patterns as well. So, okay, so one more thing here is, without comprehensive Aravalli protection, Delhi NCR could increase temperature increase of around 2 to 3 degrees Celsius beyond the global warming trends, which is going to result in devastating impacts on habitability and public health. Delhi is already suffering from so many things. Now, with the destruction of these Aravallis, it is going to increase the temperature in Delhi. Okay, so economic and social impact and the human cost is 100 million people are going to be affected. That is, population across North India is dependent on the Aravalli Hills. All of them are going to be affected, and then it is going to result in excuse me 40% crop decline as well. Projected agriculture productivity loss in Haryana and Rajasthan by 2040 because of this 100-meter elevation definition, and 12 billion economic loss, that is annual GDP impact from water scarcity, heat stress, and disaster events. Okay, so it will also have cascading socio-economic impacts. If these are in numbers, if you are going to see the impact of Aravalli change in numbers, then what will be its impact on socio-economic effects? It will result in water crisis intensification, which is going to affect rural and urban communities. Are going to face acute drinking shortages. Cities like Gurgaon and Faridabad already extract water at unsustainable rates. Next, it is going to result in agricultural stress, especially the farming communities in Rajasthan and Haryana. And it will also result in climate migration because rural livelihood depends on becomes unviable due to the water scarcity. They will start moving to urban areas such as Delhi. Then it will also lead to disaster vulnerability, especially the loss of nature buffers, increase exposure to extreme weather events, especially the flash floods during the monsoon, droughts during the dry season, and also it is going to result in more low-like waves. Which is this? It is an example of heat waves. There will be more heat waves, which is going to have detrimental impact on not only the community but also on the ecosystem as well. So, what should be the way forward? What should be the path forward then? First is we have to approach with the landscape approach. That is, protect entire Aravalli ecosystem regardless of elevation, based on the ecological connectivity and watershed function, and not merely on the ecological or topographical areas. Next, eco-sensitive zones, that is, establish buffer areas around critical habitats with regulated development and strict environmental norms. There has to be certain areas which are declared as eco-sensitive zones. Even those areas which are below 100-meter level or 100-meter elevation should be considered part of eco-sensitive zones. Then there needs to be a real-time monitoring, that is, deploy satellite surveillance and AI-powered detection systems to identify and halt illegal mining instantly. And finally, unified enforcement, that is, create interstate coordination mechanism with a legal teeth to override conflicting state politics or policies. So, the what are the state policies here? States here, that is Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, and Punjab, and also it includes Delhi NCR region, and also it includes or it brings central government into the play as well. So, development without ecology is a delayed disaster. Remember this: development without ecology is a delayed disaster. So, the Aravallis are not just a geological features; they are a life support system for North India. So now the choice is ours whether to go for short term gains or long term survivals. What is the choice is between? Choice is between short-term gain versus long-term survivals. Long-term survivals, because development without ecology is a direct disaster. So call for action. The need is call for actions. Support the hashtag Save Aravalli movement if you are in support of protecting the Aravalis. Demand landscape-based approach. Demand hold elected representatives accountable for the environmental commitments. So this is about everything about Aravalis. I hope I have cleared every doubts you have with respect to Aravalis from the static to the current affairs. If you want any other topics to be discussed in these videos, do write in the comment box. If you want static parts to be discussed, write in the comment box, or if you want some other topics to be discussed, write in the comment box as well. With this, I will be ending the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.